So, in terms of interest, PwC, one of the biggest firms in the country, and obviously has had a lot of press time over the last few years for different projects they've been involved in, some for not so good reasons and some for some great reasons. Sarah, what's an interesting project that you've sort of been involved in since you've kicked off?
I actually had one of the best projects. I got to go overseas to the States for 5 weeks, and I had a job that was in the OC area of LA, so can't complain. And that was really interesting, and I was working with one of New Zealand's biggest clients over there, one of their subsidiaries, and I was in my audit role at that time, so audit does offer travel, but was looking at the company, looking at the financial statements, that kind of thing, which is really interesting. And then in tax, I've had some interesting work helping companies expand overseas and the tax implications of setting up structures over there, which I found really interesting.
Cool. We'll have to keep in touch with you. So, around community, and I know it's something that PwC is really, really supportive of, and is out there involved in different things. I suppose maybe even Katie or the whole team, there's some different things that PwC are doing out there and around the value that they are offering with the community.
Yeah, we do a lot of work with charities and sorts of things that we can do outside of PwC. An example, the whole HR team had a day off and went to the Leukemia and Blood Foundation back in January, which was almost a team building exercise as well as doing something back for the community, and it touched us personally, what we did there. Part of the day we actually baked scones and delivered them to patients on the ward in hospitals around Auckland, so yeah, it was really good. But there's lots of things we do.
Yeah, I guess for those of you who've looked on the website, you'll see reference to the PwC Foundation. So this is a charity that we've set up basically to help PwC sort of focus its efforts in the community. And as part of that, we fundraise. So we have events internally to get money, and we do various things like charity auctions and things like that. And we sort of focus on that. We raise money and target that at particular events, and we're doing a lot with Cure Kids at the moment. They do an adventure race. We've got 4 teams in that, and they're all collecting money, and so that'll hopefully benefit Cure Kids. We've recently donated about $50,000 to, I think it's Chumley Kids Home in Christchurch. So they were obviously, as a result of the earthquake, we thought that was a good place to invest some money. So we do take our responsibility as a large corporate citizen in New Zealand seriously, and we do want to give back to the community.
Definitely, thanks for that. The question that's popped through here is around just probably building on what you sort of said before, Sarah, around international element. Around secondments and around sort of being able to have work opportunities overseas. Were you just the lucky one that got away to go over and do that, or is it something that you sort of see in
I definitely was lucky, but there are people, especially in audit, that do travel around a lot, mainly to the Pacific Islands and Australia, but there are opportunities to the US. In terms of secondments, that's definitely an option.
It is an option. I think perhaps more so internally in New Zealand. We're trying to really encourage movement and agility within the firm. But the big overseas trips, I think it would be fair to say those are the lucky secondments. As you progress in the firm, though, there's opportunities to work overseas. I transferred from the London firm. Mike's been across in the London firm as well. So there is a lot of movement internationally as we transfer into seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we do really support because you learn a lot going overseas, and so I think if you look at the senior staff and partner mix in PwC, most of them would have spent time overseas.
Oh, good. Last couple of things I want to sort of talk about is just again around the social side of things, which is definitely it's good times, and then around sort of sports teams and other things like that. what are you guys doing out there? I understand that there was a race, a running race that happened recently from Napier or down the coast.
I'm not sure it was a race, but certainly, but it was part of our, I guess, raising money for the Ronald McDonald House. And so we had a team of people who ran from Napier to Wellington over the course of about 36 hours, and they raised around $50,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a great effort. I'm glad I wasn't part of it.
It's a long day one. So in terms of sports teams, Sarah, are you involved?
Yeah, well, PwC has a social club, and they sponsor a lot of events that we do. We had Round the Bays just recently. We've got a poker night coming up, should be fun. And in terms of sports teams, you can have a team of work colleagues, and then the social club will sponsor any fees you have in terms of that team. So I was part of a social netball team, social soccer team, and there's a social touch team, like anything you want to do. It's really good.
And then on more of a social standpoint, obviously the ball's a big thing each year, and other different things in lines of service. I'm sure they'll get involved and do different sort of social engagements.
Yeah, I mean, we leave it really up to the lines of service to do what they want in various teams, and so I'm sure that there'll be regular sort of catch-ups in an informal setting and mid-year functions and things like that. We recently had a lawn bowling event.
Yeah. Got range off. We
So
still went, we just had to drink.
That would have been disappointing for a number of people, I'm sure.
I was secretly quite stoked.
So there's always opportunities for that, and even if there's not something the firm has organised, we let people organise their own thing and empower people to do that.
Yeah, definitely. The last thing I wanted to sort of cover off was around process, and obviously out there in the market, and there's people that have probably come through and that you're thinking, hey, they're good, and they may have had a call up themselves. Just sort of wanting to talk, probably Kate, if you wouldn't mind just a little bit about the process of these guys that are applying right now. How's it going to be for the next sort of week, 2 weeks, until they sort of hear back from you one way or the other?
Yeah, really good question. So the applications are closing on the 31st of March, midday for PwC. We're really encouraging you guys to get applications in quick, as soon as possible, because we're reviewing applications right now as they come through. We will be starting to get people through the process in the next couple of weeks, and that's because we just have so many to get through. We need to make sure that we get in touch with everybody. We know some of the other competitors are also getting in touch, so we want to make sure that you've heard back from everybody and you can make the right decisions that you need to. So the process for us, get your application done online. You've got to put your CV through and do some online testing for that bit, so that takes some time, so do it now. If you get shortlisted to come through for an interview, it will be an interview with HC and a manager and a partner, and there'll be some validation testing as well. So we aim to move really quick after the 31st and get back to you all within the first week of April. So, yeah.
Oh, that's good. Oh, sweet. Well, thanks very much, guys, for all being involved. It's great to have you all here, and hopefully that was helpful for you students that were thinking about where to next, and PwC being one of those sort of choices. And as we said right at the start, it isn't just accounting people; it's the whole ambit. It's a much taking a lot wider groups of people into the practice. So, thanks again, and all the very best, guys.
Thanks, Nash.
Thank you.